What's up, YouTube? My name is Byrdman778, and welcome to another Outriders video. Today, I'm showing off my new Devastator Anomaly build. This one is focused around Impale and an awesome mod that I was able to find from a fellow homie, Abby Hour. Make sure you're checking her out over at youtube.com/Abby Hour. She also has a Devastator video that kind of features this mod as well, but we were able to change it up a lot by using Impale. This has become one of my most favorite skills, even though it is one that a large portion of the community dislikes because of certain little bugs here and there, but we'll talk about that later on. But first off, make sure you know that I'm streaming on Twitch probably right now, actually, twitch.tv/Byrdman778. Stream every single day starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so make sure you're stopping on by, checking me out there. Also, make sure you're subbing here on YouTube. We are exploding. We just hit, at the time of this recording, I've hit 2,500 subs on the channel, which is amazing. So thank you everyone for doing that, and make sure you're stopping on by my Twitter as well, twitter.com/Byrdman778. Let's get on to the video. So I mentioned this is an Impale focused build, but we're gonna get into like the armor and what you really need for that, and the skill tree and all that stuff here in a little bit. But first, let's look at what weapons I really recommend for this build. First and foremost, I have an Anemo. This one is a pretty cheesy weapon. We'll talk about why it is here in a second, but this one has armor piercing, healing received, and close range damage with Moaning Winds. Now, Moaning Winds is one of the most controversial mods in the game right now. Reloading creates a strong blast around you, dealing 387,000 damage to enemies within an 8-meter radius. It has an 8-second cooldown. Essentially, why this is cheesy is because people will just unload the mag and activate that explosion, change to their other weapon, and every 8 seconds or so swap back over to the Moaning Winds to get that effect going. We don't even call it the Anemo, we call it the Moaning Winds because that's exactly what we've been really doing with it. With this build though, this isn't something that I say is something you have to have. I use Moaning Winds more as like enemies are like this much health left, I'm just gonna pull it out real quick, everyone's gonna get decimated real fast, or there's a bunch of like just regular mobs around me, something like that. More just to like clear that last little bit of health instead of having to reactivate an ability or having to use my other weapon by chance. But we also have Fortress on here, receive up to 43% damage based on your armor. Obviously, we have pretty high armor with this, and it's gonna get boosted a lot because of that as well, so that extra damage. Next, though, we have the Roaring Umbra. This one is armor piercing, status power, and close range damage. With the tier 3 mod, Kinetic Stomp. Shots create a seismic shock around you, dealing 232,000 damage in a 5-meter radius, and has a 4-second cooldown. This one's super great for Devastator, especially because you should be in the thick of it pretty consistently. So getting that huge damage boost to just doing shots, then all of a sudden there's a 200,000 damage just activated around you in a 5-meter radius. That is amazing. We love to see it. Also, it's boosted by the Fortress mod as well. Receive up to 43% damage based on your armor. Fortress comes off the Death Shield. It helps out literally everything in the game, just getting huge boosts, whether it is having an anomaly effects, it helps boost your skills, boosts literally everything. So that's why we like kind of having it on 2 different weapons, so no matter what, as long as we're holding a weapon out, we're getting a huge boost to our gun damage, our damage, anomaly damage, everything's getting boosted. Now, going into our armor pieces and why they are so specific, first off, we use a Seismic Commander helmet. This has anomaly power, status power, and skill life leech, and it comes with the tier 3 mod Ultimate Impaler. Impale, the skill can be activated 2 more times before triggering a cooldown. This is great because you get 2 immediate activations of Impale, which is amazing because I love Impale personally. I think it's awesome, just giant spike coming out of the ground and impaling enemies and ending them. Oh my god. I mean, it sucks obviously because if an enemy is impaled, it kind of slows down the timer. That's why you're gonna find a lot of people being like, get like complain or something like that if they see Impale being active. But do note that a lot of times you can activate this right before you're going to like a checkpoint or something like that, and you just run to it, and by the time you get to it, you're more likely to be able to activate it. I just really don't recommend you doing it in like the last little sliver bit of time. If you're trying to go for like gold on an expo, it might hurt you there. But the other mod, that we found out from Abby Hour, that is just absolutely the spiciest thing on earth, Unstoppable Force. Increase your anomaly power by 50% of your resistance piercing. Now, I want you to put that in your brain real quick, because we're going to come back to that here in a minute once we go to our skill tree. But at least know that whenever we have resistance piercing in the build, we're going to be getting a boost to our anomaly power. So again, keep that in your mind. We'll maybe Kurzo can put like a little like block of this skill like up on our skill tree whenever we talk about this again. But this is a huge mod for us. Now, we're obviously using the Seismic Commander set, so we're going to increase damage towards bleeding enemies by 50%. Very great, because we're just trying to do as much damage as humanly possible. Next off, we have the Seismic Commander Armor. This one has anomaly power, status power, and cooldown reduction. With Palisade, Impale, the skill can strike 2 additional targets, making sure that essentially that whenever we see a bunch of mobs out there, we know at least a couple of them are going to get hit by this ability. We absolutely need that. And then also Bloodshock, Earthquake inflicts bleed on enemies damaged by the skill, helping us just constantly inflict bleed to the battlefield. Next up, we have the Seismic Commander Legs with anomaly power, status power, and cooldown reduction. With the tier 3 mod Tainted Blood, increase the damage dealt to enemies afflicted with bleed by 25%, meaning more damage to bleeding targets. Also, we're using the Impale mod Rivers of Blood, increases skills damage by 50% and enemies afflicted with bleed. So obviously we're going to be consistently inflicting bleed to all our enemies. Impale itself inflicts bleed, so once we do that second hit of it, it's going to do a lot more damage. We love this mod. This might be the mod that makes Impale so cracked. We love it. Next up, we're using just a purple pair of gloves. Doesn't matter what the name of them are, but we like to focus into anomaly power, close range, and cooldown reduction. The close range can be swapped off for status power if you can get that, but I would definitely say anomaly power and cooldown reduction are huge ones for this. But we're also using the tier 1 mod Ground Crush, and increase skill base damage by 84,000, making sure Earthquake's just doing more damage. Also, Second Quake, which is a tier 3 mod that you get off of the Seismic Boots, and making sure that we're able to get another activation of Earthquake. And finally, Boots, Purple Boots, anomaly power, close range damage, cooldown reduction, same thing. We'd rather have that close range be status power, but at the same time, it really doesn't matter because we're more looking for that anomaly power up top. And then we have the Sharpened Spike Impale mod. Skill deals 129,000 more damage. Insane. You need this. This is great. And also the tier 1 mod Extra Quake to making sure we're getting our third activation of Earthquake. When it comes to our skills, we're using Earthquake, obviously, Golem, and Impale. Earthquake releases Shockwave that deals 180,000 damage and interrupts all enemies in front of you. Again, using this mainly to inflict bleed, but also just do a shit ton of damage. Golem, fortify yourself against 65% of incoming damage for 8 seconds. We're using this because of a mod in our skill tree, but also know it's something that can be a defensive and offensive skill. Defensive, like let's say you're bunch of fire coming on you, activate real quick and making sure that you're able to fortify up and take less damage. But also going into a big fight, activated, so you're able to, again, same thing, but just be able to be more on the offensive end. And then finally, Impale. Select a target, interrupt their skills, inflict bleed, and deal 321,000 damage. This is absolutely insane. We have a bunch of shit in our mods that is able to boost this, our skill tree boosts this, but just the fact that it's doing 300,000 damage on a hit is incredible. Now, do know again, Rivers of Blood's going to increase that if they're bleeding, and also a couple other things that we're going to talk about in the skill tree will help that out as well. But something that people kind of forget about Impale is the fact that it's that bottom part. If the damage is lethal, the enemy will be impaled, granting a powerful bonus to armor and health regeneration to allies for 9 seconds. This is incredible for co-op play. Even though people might be like, oh, I hate seeing Impale because it's going to lower our time. Guess what? If I impale an enemy, you're getting healing and armor from it. So you're welcome. Going to our skill tree, we're obviously going bottom tree for this build. And with that, obviously, we're going to be going into Anomaly Reservoirs, just all 5 of them, giving us an extra 30% boost to our Anomaly power. We're going to go into both the Endless Tremors. Seismic skills cooldown is reduced by 15%, giving us an extra 30% reduction to our Impale and our Earthquake. We're going to go into this one Unending Watch. Reduce protection skills cooldown by 15%, making sure that we're getting our golem back faster. Paladin, using protection skills, increase anomaly power by 45% for 10 seconds. We obviously love this because, again, this is giving us an offensive ability so that we're getting a boost to our status power, our skills, and our melee, making sure that we're able to do plenty of damage with that. Also, 2 pure anomalies, increase your resistance piercing by 15%, making sure we have at least 30% resistance piercing. Now, before I was talking about that one mod, Unstoppable Force, put it somewhere on the screen there, Cruzo, so people can see it again. But we're getting extra 50% boost to our anomaly power whenever our resistance piercing, whatever it is. So right now we have 30%, which means that we're going to get at least a 15% boost to our anomaly power. Now, Strong Arm in the Anomaly. This is a crucial skill. After using class melee skill, increase resistance piercing by 15% for each enemy hit for 10 seconds. This is incredible skill to have, especially against big groups of mobs. You're able to do your melee real quick, inflict all the enemies with this, and boost your anomaly power by a shit ton. insane amount, you need this skill. So like, let's say there's a group of 10 mobs. You hit all of them at once. You're getting 150% boost to your resistance piercing, meaning you're getting a 75% boost to your anomaly power on top of the 30%, 15%, I guess, anomaly power you're already having as is. This is going to help out Impale. It's going to help out Earthquake and making sure that you're doing just absolute insane amount of damage. Now, do know with this, whenever you melee again, it's going to reset it. So let's say you're on the last stage of Archways of Enoch. There's the 2 behemoths, but there's all those little rank and files that run out at you. Run up, hit them, and then turn the corner real quick and go after those 2 behemoths. You will be able to almost instantly shred them and then just finish them off with like maybe that Moaning Winds real fast, or even just a activation of the Kinetic Stomp. It is incredible what this skill can do for this build. Now, this is a great skill, but we also have some other great ones, such as Strong Arm of the Law. That's going to boost our class melee skill. We obviously want to do more melee damage. Lacerating Push is a anomaly affected ability, so us doing that will boost it. Executioner, increased damage by 20% for enemies below 30% health. Extra damage to enemies that are low health, good to go. Going to this 1 Bloodbath, bleed inflicted on enemies deals 30% more damage. Blood Donation, you are healed for 25% of the bleed damage. This is going to make sure you're staying constantly alive. That's why we want that bleed, especially on Earthquake. So we're making sure plenty of enemies are being inflicted with bleed, meaning that we're keeping our health up. 1 Rejuvenation, skill Life Leech. This is going to help out all of our skills, obviously, except for Golem, obviously, making sure that they're able to stay up. Protected by the Anomaly, increase your armor bonus by 40% of your anomaly power, which is great. So we already have high anomaly, meaning that we're going to get even higher armor. Skilled Sentry, increase armor by 20% and resistances by 20% for 10 seconds when your skill ends. Obviously, we're constantly activating Earthquake, constantly activating Impale, so we're going to be always keeping up that Skilled Sentry bonus. And then finally, Earth's Heritage, increase seismic skills base damage by 50%, making sure that we are getting a huge boost to our Earthquake and our Impale. Thank you so much for stopping by this build. I hope you enjoy it. Again, I was really glad that I was able to work with my homie Abby R. Check her out again, youtube.com/AbbyR on making this build. I was really glad she pointed out that Unstoppable mod, which is incredible for this build. I think this might be one of my more favorite ones to do all around, especially just because Impale is just so strong. I know, again, a lot of people don't like Impale. I love it. I think it's amazing, and I think it's something that is worth your time. But again, guys, please sub to the channel if you can. We are just booming with new people coming in. I have a lot of people coming to my Twitch channel. Let me know that they stopped by and checked out the videos and they really loved it. So if you could be one of those people and stop by my stream as well, I'd really appreciate it. Twitch.tv/Byrdman778. Again, stream every single day starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And please follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Byrdman778 for some crazy subpar tweets. Guys, hope you all have a great night, day, or whatever it may be.